Hello, and welcome to today's live podcast interview on Lifestyle with Luke Lintott, the top podcast for corporate health, wellness, and living your best life. Today, I'm joined by the amazing Monica Moura. We're going to go deep into financial freedom and living your dream while getting healthy and wealthy. Monica Moura is a wealth mindset coach with Primerica. She's also going with us on the Thailand retreat in February 2025, and we've been working together for quite some time now. She's a world traveler and is very talented at the work she does. She has helped me and countless others invest, save for retirement, and she is growing her team, y'all. So she's having a global impact in helping people become protected and, of course, find freedom. Like that's what this is all about. So thank you so much, Monica, for joining us. And my name is Luke. I coach executives to get fit and loved while making money, for anyone out there who does not know me. And I'm excited to get rolling. So I'd love to just hand the reins off to you, Monica. We actually have known each other since high school. We're from the same small town in Northern California. I'd love to hear more about your story, your why, what you do, anything else.
Yes, thank you for the fabulous introduction. It was so beautiful. So how I came to be is I'm the daughter of a contracting engineer who owned his own firm, in case you don't know me and my background. And I never really thought that finance was going to be my career. It's not like I was a business finance major. I'm actually a communications major from Sonoma State. So I got really good at presenting, really good at building relationships, helping people feel welcome. Side note, I'm pretty decent at paperwork. My handwriting is not necessarily super beautiful, but I definitely know how to get things done. And so all of these things just kind of lined up in the universe, asking me not once, but twice to come and get investment licensed. And so the second time it showed up, I really knew in my heart, Luke, that, it was going to show up a third time if I said no. So I just said yes. I'm super grateful I did because my personal story is my dad became my client. 5 years after my dad became my client, he unfortunately died. And because he was significantly older than my mom, and both of my parents are Portuguese immigrants, there was a big need for me to fill the gap when he was not here anymore to help my mom understand stuff like financial contracts and negotiation and honestly, how investment accounts work. So for me, it was like getting licensed made me very powerful in helping my family. And then it just makes you unstoppable when you're willing to teach the trade to other people. And that really is the power of duplication, mentorship, leadership, really pouring into yourself and others to make sure that you're the best resource available so people choose you, right? Because at the end of the day, they're not choosing Primerica, they're choosing Monica Moura, right? They're choosing to invest with me because they know I'm going to be there for them and their family because I'm strong in that department. I really believe that if you love your family, hey man, I'm for you, right? Like I can't help you if you don't love your family. I can't love your family more than you love your family, right? So these are questions I kind of ask of people when I connect with them on the front end, just so that I kind of know if they're my kind of person, honestly. So, and the world traveling, I think, is also a big part of why I chose this career. It does give you the freedom to be able to say yes to stuff like Thailand. Last summer, my cousin got married in Portugal. He called me the November before, and I honestly hadn't taken a serious vacation in over 5 years. The pandemic expanded that, obviously. And Luke had asked me to come down to San Diego. So I went down there in September of 2022. I did 3 days with him. We went to the Lion King on Broadway in San Diego. There we had a blast. When I got back from San Diego, I was like, I'm ready for a big trip. So my cousin called and told me, he was going to get married in Portugal. And I said, for me, it's a yes. And he said, really? And I said, yeah, absolutely. Like, I don't care what I have to make happen. It's going to happen. And it's probably one of the best things I ever did with my life. Like, I went to Portugal to make myself proud of me. It really wasn't about anything but that. And of course, the adventure was getting to see my dad's birth island one more time, getting to reconnect with one of my really good friends who moved back to Portugal 6 months prior to my cousin getting married. And then lastly, watching my cousin, who I pretty much grew up with, walk down the aisle and marry his person. It was just phenomenal, all of it, right? So when Luke brought up Thailand with me, and I think like part of what we're going to do today is talk a little bit about vision casting. My cousin vision casted coming to his wedding for me, right? But I, even prior to that, vision casted him getting married to his partner, and I don't necessarily like advise sticking your nose where it doesn't belong when it comes to other people's romantic relationships. But I definitely, encouraged my cousin's partner to be like, when you're ready, this is what I was thinking, right? And sure enough, it totally manifested. I got to go to a big, out of control, nonstop Indian wedding in Portugal, which was freaking amazing because that's exactly what I was thinking was going to happen and shared with my cousin's partner. So when Luke first approached me about the Thailand trip, I really wasn't sure if I could do something like that. In fact, I've never been to Asia, truthfully. I know Luke said I'm a world traveler, but I've never stepped a foot on the continent of Asia. And there's a few reasons why. Like, it's kind of scary for me. I didn't really know a lot about Asian culture until I moved to the Bay Area, just because the town we grew up in was really, really secluded and sheltered from that. And then the other reason is because I'm a bigger lady. I'm a thick American girl. So for me to show up in a tiny old part of the world is like it's kind of scary. It's like, okay, well, am I gonna fit there? Am I gonna blend in, or am I gonna stick out like a sore thumb? you know? And then you have to prepare yourself like psychologically and physically. So prior to Europe, I hit the Stairmaster pretty hard at the gym, knowing I was going to be encountering stairs from the 12th century, the 14th century, and that did wonders. The yoga with Luke did wonders. There was a moment; it was literally within the first 12 hours of me landing. I had to power squat and lift my suitcase over ancient stairs over my head and get it to the other side there. And I was like thinking in the middle of that, thank God I do yoga, right? Because I would have never been strong enough to do something like that. So when you're planning for a big trip, it's not only financial, it's also, are you ready, right? Because when you buy the ticket, you ride the ride, which means anything terrible that happens to you, you probably actually signed up for that. You bought the ticket to go. So anything and everything can help happen to you. So we have to be prepared for all of these things. And so Asia was something I always thought I would do older, right? Like maybe in my 50s or 60s, but now's the time because guess what? We don't know how long we're going to live. And this is an opportunity to go with a group of people who are excited to go. So we're putting our heads together and we're financially making it happen. Like Luke and I are teaming up. We're asking great people to join us. We're asking great people to become our clients and our business partners to make it all happen. So I hope that answers your question. I know that was kind of a long answer, but yeah, that gives you like a sense as to why Luke and I are in alignment.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to highlight that I couldn't more highly recommend Monica for the great work that she does. She's helped me make 8K in 8 months. I think that's what it is. So for people like me, my gift is health and wellness, lifestyle consulting beyond. No one does it alone. So the way it's really important that you focus on what you enjoy, what you're good at, right? And for those things you need help with, go get someone to help you. Like go get Monica's team to help you, slash if you're really good at this, if you're excited about it, if you want to become knowledgeable like Monica, maybe you want to talk to Monica about joining her team and become mobily wealthy, right? Be able to work from anywhere, work from your laptop while making money, while having a great impact. Who doesn't want that? And I think it's similar. The work we do, it's funny because health and money both offer freedom. So I work with people that are in their 30s all the way up to age 84 and everyone in between. And I can tell you that, yes, you can have all the money in the world, but if you can't walk, if you're in pain, that money doesn't really mean that much. I was just having to talk with one of my dear friends about, especially, when you're in your 30s and when you're in your 40s, you'll notice more and more people start caring about their bodies because you really notice it when you don't stretch or you don't work out, right? And a lot of people are like, oh shit, like I don't want to lose my ability to travel and all that stuff that sometimes it does happen, right? Our bodies are just meant to last for a lifetime, but you can actually extend that how long it lasts, not just live to be 125 years old, but to also feel good and to have a high quality life, right? And who doesn't want that? So I think those are some great side effects. And I wanted to go back to what we were going to talk more about calling in your desires rather than forcing them, and vision casting. And this actually goes back to my book, which just came back from my formatter. I'm so grateful. It's taken a whole team to do this book. Thank you to everyone who's been a part of that, including you, Monica, including everyone out there that's, been a part of this wellness movement. And it really has to do with what you expect, right? There's something called a law of expectation I wanted to mention to y'all. If you expect something, it is 85% more likely to happen. They've done studies on it. So if you expect something great to happen, like you were talking about, going to a wedding, going to Portugal, joining us in Thailand, enjoying your life, that will happen. The opposite can also be true, right? So who you're around truly matters. And that's what's so magical about this retreat. One of many magical things about it is that you're around some really great guides, people. We have Monica coming, some other people out there, and you're going to be connecting with the elephants, which is a true healing experience. I know for me, just as someone who has a very high EQ, it was so amazing to connect with an animal that is more emotionally intelligent than humans, the elephants, right? So I just think there's like so many fun things, and it's gonna be a blast, right? Like I think that's the biggest secret about working with me and working with Monica is that it's fun, right? Like our team, our clients are literally my family. My mom showed up to class today, by the way, at 7 a.m. Pacific, along with Monica,
Yes.
along with Tim over in Bermuda. And I don't, maybe y'all are watching this now. And of course, other people doing the replay, shout out to y'all. So with all of that in mind, I know people out there, Monica, we have this do-it-yourself culture with your body, with health, and a do-it-yourself culture with investment. I know plenty of people that do it on their own. And let's be real, for a lot of people, it doesn't work out so hot. In fact, studies show when you work with someone who's investment licensed, you make more money, right? If I tried to
Mhm.
do this on my own, I'm pretty sure I would have actually lost money. So thank God you recruited me. Thank you, Monica. Could you just, I mean, feel free to add anything else that's coming to mind for
No,
you.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you brought that up because yeah, there are numerous articles about people who use a wealth advisor versus people who don't. And there are small-minded people who have said all kinds of negative things towards me and my trade and my craft. And I tell you what, these people don't have money. The people who've said it to me, and that's why like they are refusing to even say sit down with me and they spout out weird things like that I'm like, okay. So for me, it's like when you do the personal development at the level that Luke and I have, right? And I'm not saying you got to buy all the books and read them. I'm saying, at least start watching some stuff on YouTube or something, do something for yourself because guess what? Life doesn't get easier. You are supposed to get better. That's what it is. Okay. So, yeah, when you start doing that, you not only attract better quality people into your life, but you attract better quality experiences into your life. You're able to navigate things more efficiently. Like, I just think that it makes a world of difference in how you really collect yourself and think about yourself. And for me, the truth is in the pudding. Like, I would have never, ever been able to acquire the certain skill set I would have had I not spent time understanding and being mentored by another, wealth licensed person. And that's really how this business works. It's like Luke also took time to learn from other personal trainers and yoga instructors before he became one himself, right? So it's not like you go to a formal college for this kind of information. It's like, this is what I like. So then how do I become the master? And the master, like Think and Grow Rich, says you have to put in 10,000 hours, right? And you have to fail, like, and it's not going to be pretty, but it's going to be worth it. I promise, And so this really is an experience that we're both having where we're like, well, how do we give to other people the energy to get through it because we know failure can be devastating. But if you have friends to pick you back up, you're not going to be in the rut for too much longer. And that's why, I work with Luke on my mental and physical health because there are days where I'm like, this is too much and I want to give up. But at the end of the day, I know you can never really go home because home has changed, right? Like I haven't lived with my mom in almost 20 years, 20 years exactly. This October will be 21 actually. So for me, it's like moving backwards in life. Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a huge guarantee that the 5 steps backwards is going to bring me 30 steps forwards, right? And that's really why I look at my life holistically on every level. It's like, well, am I taking care of not only my money, but am I taking care of my physical and mental health? Because, like Luke said, all the money in the world doesn't matter when you can't do those things. Like a lot of people think, and I'm guilty too, that I'm going to travel later, I'm going to do it later. Well, guess what? Maybe later's never going to show up for you. Like, how hard are you working and not taking care of yourself? Because if that's the case, then I'm not going to be able to go to Asia. I'm not going to be able to go to Europe. I'm not going to be able to go to Africa and all the things I still want to do with my life. So that's part of why, I mean, I think it's phenomenal that Luke has an amazing offering of yoga and spiritual emotional coaching that help people realize that, yeah, connecting to things like elephants, is healing. And that's, I think, the biggest part of why I want to go is because I love animals. I'm a big animal person, and to be near a creature that's bigger than me, is more like ancient than me, right? Its ancestors stretch back longer than human ancestors. I think is going to be really good for me personally. Hopefully I can like offer something to the elephants, emotionally and physically, but I also recognize that they're here for us, like they're here with us and for us. God put them on this earth for us to enjoy. So let's enjoy them, And anybody who's willing to go on this adventure with us, we're grateful. We're super grateful. We still have slots open. And then anybody who's willing to, look at taking an opportunity to work on their mind and their money, we're also very grateful for that because we know that's not easy. But that's also why Luke and I are willing to do it because we know what it's like to not have good health, to not have good self esteem, right? To not believe that we deserve to make $8,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $30,000 a month, whatever it is. You got to call that in. Like it starts with you, and then hire people who are mastered at what you want, right? Have already paid the price and gone through the skill set to figure out what you want so they can help you do it because this is really a team effort. This is never ever a solo person mish.
Absolutely. And I think that's what's so great about the work we're doing is it is holistic. And I wanted to mention too that if you're kind of struggling on what to do, you can use a pen and a paper, right, to decide what you want to call in. And a bridge will be created to get you to your desires once you actually decide. And you don't do it alone, right? You reach out to me, reach out to Monica. And in terms of that healing energy work, I think for me, it's been profound. Of course, it has manifested in my body. And I talk more about in my book about how I used to be a heavy drinker. I had a lot of digestive issues. I didn't love the person staring back at me in the mirror. And the thing is, energy is everything. This body is actually 99.99% plus energy. It's just a little bit of matter. Money is energy too. All your thoughts are energy, right? You're manifesting all those things that you have around you right now. And the thing is, the majority of our thoughts are the same thoughts that we had yesterday. The great way the thing that you can do to change now is to, of course, reach out, connect with new people, and change your environment. So that's what I think for me is so healing about getting out of the routine and going to Thailand, even doing this local retreat that we have coming up in 3 weeks here in San Diego, is that you're connecting with new people and you're really just Monica and I talking right now. We're sharing something called mirror neurons. And even you listening to this or watching us, I know 90% of y'all just listen. You're actually picking up on our frequency and you're absorbing that into your body. So be careful what you're listening to because we're in this time of distraction. We get 74 gigabytes of information per day in 2024, which is more information than humans got in their entire lifetime 500 years ago. So in one day, we get more information than in the whole lifetime. So just know that it's okay if you want to have silence and just go walk around, get into nature. That can do wonders. And like Monica was talking about, holistic transformation, right? Like joining the party, joining us on the retreat. Maybe it's a local one, maybe it's going to Asia and just scheduling a consultation with me about that retreat, about coaching beyond. And then with Monica to talk about money, finances. And I know a lot of people out there may be like, I'm not ready yet. I'm going to wait until I have blank taken care of to talk with you, Monica, or I'm not ready to be a member of that team, blank, blank, blank. What would you tell the people that are kind of on the fence about joining your team or even just planning for retirement, planning, investing beyond?
Sometimes the people who are in the worst financial situations teach me the most. Like I have learned a lot about child support through clients, knew nothing about it till I worked in this industry. It's not like that stuff is taught in schools, you guys, right? The people who know it the best are the people who've gone through it the worst. That's real. So for me, you might actually be enlightening me. Actually, you're giving me something more than I'm going to give you something in that moment in time. The longer you wait, like procrastination is the number one killer of money. So there's three predators to money. Procrastination being the first, can't help you there. If you're a procrastinator and like this is from one procrastinator to another, I know exactly how long it might take you to get it together, I took an advanced Shakespeare class in college because I liked the professor. It was a nightmare. I stayed up till 5 in the morning writing a whole paper on Macbeth versus Othello and turned it in with like tears in my eyes at 5 in the morning. And my instructor told me it was fantastic and he wished I wouldn't had sent him an email telling me how bad I thought it was. Like he was like, "What's wrong with you?" So it's like if you're tying your own noose, stop it. Like let's undo that. Let's use the rope for something else. Like we really need to be positive about our situations, whether they're maybe not so great looking versus what they could be, because that's what vision casting is. Like my financial situation isn't always pretty and sexy. However, I know in my DNA I have the power to make millions. I really believe that, and it's not because I come from a super generational wealthy family. It's because one person in my family figured it out and broke the mold for all of us. So it really just takes one. For me, it was my dad. My dad set an amazing example. For you, it's probably you. Your ancestors are waiting for you to be the one. So that's why you want to sit down with somebody who's understood both sides of the coin. Like my mom came from a really, really poor background. To this day, her money thermometer is not good. There are days I have to pick her up and shake her out and do it in a nice loving way because she's my mom, and I'm going to treat everybody that way truthfully, because I respect that when you come from that background you're never going to forget what it's like to be that poor, and I have immense respect for that because I understand this is not all about money. There are people who travel with nothing, no kind of budget, and those people are usually fleeing the country for their lives, folks. So we have to look at it subjectively. It's like, yes, of course we're here to have fun, enjoy our lives, take great vacations, eat delicious food, and somehow magically still have great bodies by working on them, right? It's not really magic, it's work. So to do that, we have to line up with people who understand those things. And that's part of why Luke and I are in alignment on these things, is because we understand it goes hand in hand, right? Like I would never have the guts to go see the elephants by myself. Trust me. That's too scary for me. However, Luke encouraged me that now's the time. And I know he's right, because I tell you what, there are times I'm turning 40 in 6 weeks. There are times I am not happy about turning 40. Trust me, like I'm sad about it. But the elephants are bigger than me and older than me. And that is why I need to be with the elephants right now, is to make me feel good, because I know we have an energy exchange. On top of that, Luke is going to take us on a golden temple hike, and I'm really excited for that because that's almost like a paradox to climbing for your own golden temple, if you will. Right? There's a climb in becoming wealthy. You don't just wake up one day and you're wealthy. It's like rich can be arranged. There's certain steps you have to go on to get to the golden temple. So we're going to do that. We're also going to do some cooking classes, which I'm excited about because Thai food is one of my favorite foods in the Asian culture. So it's exciting to be able to teach myself how to make some delicious Thai food, especially because, like, I've had some experiments in the kitchen that maybe haven't turned out that favorable in that department. And I consider myself like a mediocre cook, but there's always room for improvement there. And lastly, Luke and I are working on a huge financial game plan for a company that's expanded from San Diego into Thailand. And we're really excited about that because we're going to offer them financial wellness and like health wellness. So we're going to be working on their minds, working on their bodies, working on their money. And that's going to help this business expand even further, because honestly, this is about the people. This is about us, but it's also about the people and then also about the elephants, right? So we're working together in like a trifecta to make sure everything's getting healed and bring 25 into the year of pure abundance and bliss, because that's really what we both want. We're calling it in.
Absolutely. And I want to add on top of that, yes, you get to go to the temples, yes, the elephants. And also we're going to be doing like guided food tour, the cooking class, like Monica was mentioning. And we're going to be doing some healing energy and manifestation work. So we're going to do that with both yours truly. We'll be doing yoga wellness every day. You get yoga included, meditation, so you feel grounded. And you're going to meet with celebrity psychic Quentin Stroud and going to actually be doing some more manifestation work so that you can call in your desires through your energy, right? And do that healing work. Not just that, we're adding, everything's included, by the way. This is one of those retreats where you just need to buy your plane tickets and show up and you get picked up, and we're including like accommodation, food. And apparently some people out there think that, if it's outside the US, you're going to be staying in a hut. No. We have a very nice luxury villa with a massive pool, 2 hot tubs, like really nice rooms. And so it's in Niman, Chiang Mai, northern Thailand. It's the hippest neighborhood in that part of Thailand. And I've been to that region of Thailand now 3 times, and it's beyond beautiful. And ironically, like Monica was mentioning, one of my corporate wellness clients, their company, Lotus and Luna, is based there. So we haven't been announcing everything in terms of that collaboration, but there will be some more announcements coming up soon. So you might as well jump on the bandwagon now, since we do have limited space and we already have 4 people registered and another person meeting with me later this week because one of Monica's friends is joining us. So we'd love to have you come and apply and just learn more about you prioritizing yourself. And so I did my first retreat in 2019, and I talked so much about this, but 2 weeks after the retreat, that's when I founded lukeyoga.com. That's when I went for my dreams. And so many things blossom when you pour into yourself and when you treat yourself like your own best friend, rather than wait. And this is what I used to do: wait until someone is going to magically come and save you, or someone says it's okay for you to do you, boo. And we're here just to tell you it's okay. You can do it. This is your sign.
Yeah, we're saving you.
You
We're
can go
telling
do
you
it
you can
all.
do it.
and there's no strings attached, like either meeting with me or meeting with Monica. Like you're just getting a taste and seeing if this is a good match for you. And the same goes with maybe joining Monica's team, maybe investing that money, whatever, saving for retirement. And I'm just speaking from my own experience because I'm your typical millennial. I'm 36 years old. I had 6 retirement accounts. I found out after Monica was working with me that like at least 2 of my accounts were just kind of like sitting there because I had a lot of jobs before I started my business. I worked in schools all over the place, which I loved. And anyways, long story short, Monica helped me monetize that money in one account. So it magnifies the interest. And I'm also now investing, as opposed to just having my money sit in some savings account with a 0.5% interest rate. Rather, when it's invested, the return is, I think it's like 8 or 9%. It's something crazy. So it's just been so wonderful to see that happen, especially maybe it's more than that because of inflation and things like that. Now thinking about your money beyond just stacking it away and hiding it under your bed is that much more important. So I just wanted to say, like, I'm so glad that Monica and her great team, I'm so thankful that you set up a financial consultation with me, because it's something that I just wasn't like aware of. So like, I'm just saying now, just like testimonial right here, go speak with Monica. You will not be let down. And if you're thinking you want to work with Monica and make more money, go and have an impact. Who doesn't want that? Like, go and do that. Because it sounds like what you're saying, Monica, like a lot of people join the team because they want to help their family, right? And or they want to help their community. So yeah.
I think that that's really awesome for you to bring up, mostly because the Calvary is not coming to save anybody, right? Like the only person who's coming to save you is you. And that's why Luke and I bought into the idea of upping our skills, because at the end of the day, nobody's paying for Thailand but me, right? So for me, it's like we have to figure out how to make it work for our futures and for our biggest dreams. And I'm really glad you brought up having all those jobs, because guess what? You can build a business part time and get free from your job. I promise you, it is possible. I've watched many people do it of all ages and backgrounds. So it's not just like a figment of our imaginations. It is physically something that can still happen in this country. Nobody's holding you back but you. And that's part of why Luke and I really look at all of our friends and family like, hey, we love you, but maybe some of the things you have and some of the things you do, it's not for us, right? We're different. We're a little different. And I don't mean that in like a mean or cocky way. It's more like we're committed to our dreams and our goals and our bodies and our minds. Like some people can't even commit to tying their shoes, okay? And that makes us a little different, right? We're like, woo, in your face, high energy. And we know how to really bring people that kind of good feeling because we want people to feel good about themselves. Like, I'm really not here to tear people up. The last time I really let go on somebody, I mean, it was like multiple times where I was like, okay, you're gonna get called out. And that's because I'm a straight shooter, right? And I was raised by people who did that. So I don't know how to be any other way in the world. But my soft skills with people are incredible. There's definitely days where people ask me to do stuff with people in their own family that I'm like, I don't want to do that, you know? And they'll say, but you're so good with people. And I'm like, yeah, I know it's my personal gift. I've worked on it, but I only use it for good. I don't use it for bad. Right. And so that's why I think sitting down with us, no, for at least a consultation with no charge is the best bet for you to figure out what you want out of it. Luke is very good at reflecting back what you just said so you could hear it in his voice, not just yours, right? So you can hear what you want out of Luke's mouth. You can hear what you want out of my mouth. We can help you visualize it and then physically create it together because that's what this whole thing is about. I wanted to go to Thailand. I never told Luke that. I watched Luke go to Thailand several times, never said anything to him about it. And then finally he was like, "We're going to go to Thailand." And I was like, "What? I don't know if I'm ready to go to Thailand with you." It's like, had all my qualms and hangups, because that's how I roll in the beginning of a new adventure. I didn't do that with Portugal because I've already been to Portugal, right? I was dying to go back. But when you're doing something new, it can be scary, even if it's something fun and wonderful. So you need a team to prep you for it. And that's what the whole talk is about today. It's like, how do you get prepared for something huge, like getting married, having a baby, going to another country, right? How do you get prepared for that? Well, it just doesn't happen overnight, just like anything else. It's like it's a process. First, maybe you start reading some books. Then you start syncing up with people who maybe already have kids or already been to Thailand or already are married, right? Then you start looking at places to go to do these things, right? Like, do you want to have your baby at home or do you want to have your baby at the birth center? Do you want to have your baby at the hospital, right? Like, you really start looking at those kinds of things so you can figure out what's going to work for you. Because at the end of the day, we don't want to leave people high and dry on their big dreams. Everybody's got them. Trust me. Some people, maybe they're so broken they just forgot how to dream. But if you really spend time giving them your positive self, they will tell you what they want. I promise you. You just have to learn how to ask the right questions.
Absolutely. And I wanted to add to everyone, like when I went on my first retreat, that's where I got my first private yoga client through one of the people at the retreat. I literally am meeting with this individual on Friday. And Megan, we met at the retreat. Megan and I are co-leading the upcoming Energy Awakening retreat here in San Diego. So those magical things wouldn't have happened if we didn't go to our own retreat. And I remember when Megan and I did our interview, she didn't even really know what was going to happen at the retreat. She just asked me, I was like, "Oh, I'm going to sign up. We're going to go to Mexico." And we volunteered at an orphanage. We did some great things. And this similarly, it's going to be about connecting with each other, connecting with yourself and healing and truly calling in those desires, using your energy. And it's February 17th to the 22nd. For those of y'all who don't know about when it is coming up, it's actually in 6 months. So I have a great payment plan too to make it happen. And I think the best thing, Monica, don't you think, would be to meet with me and to meet with Monica, because then you're going to be really planning and investing right to make all these dreams happen. And I wanted to go back to manifestation, and it's about deciding where you want to put your time and your energy, your money, right? Because time you cannot get back. And I know before, Monica, kind of I kind of adopted what mainstream society said I should do, which meant not doing wellness, not doing yoga. We don't got time and money for that. We're going to focus on these other things like, what have you. I was kind of taught to just work super, super hard and then have fun later after I retire, etc. And also I was actually taught the whole idea of do it yourself. Don't work with someone else to help you plan for retirement. Do it on you. And I know, like, I've been unlearning a lot of these things. Like, of course, I'm so glad I started paying and doing yoga. I'm so glad literally an hour ago I met with my own coach. I'm not just doing this alone either. I'm curious, anything coming up for you?
I think it's so true. Just when I look at like some of the most successful people that I serve, these people are older than me. Some of them make triple the income I make. Some of them are younger than me and they make more money than me. And they trust me because they know I have spent hours working on understanding the thing that they don't. Like recently I had a client sit down with me about wanting to buy a house with his girlfriend, and he wasn't sure if he should buy a house without her or with her unmarried or marry her and then buy the house. And he approached the conversation with her, and she shot back with, I actually don't want to live with you till I'm married to you. And he was like, what? Because he was not expecting that. Yeah, at all. That was like not one of the three options he was going to give her, right? So he brought it to me, and I said, okay, well, here's how I made the decision that I would never buy or build a house with a man I wasn't married to. And I told him a story of something that had happened to one of my really good friends when we were in our early 20s with an older boyfriend who was a golfer, in which they built a house together. And turns out that there's this thing called sweat equity. And I know this is not taught in schools to the general public, but the concept is, if you put your physical time into something and it is trackable, meaning you kept track of your hours building this house, the courts will recognize that. And because this man did that, then when they decided to break up, they had to go through a little mini financial divorce, right? So you're not saving yourself from anything by not getting married, okay? And the court said, so sorry, he does not have to give you 50-50. He's going to give you 40-60. He's going to keep 60. You're going to get 40, and you're going to like it. And she raged, right? She was not happy about that. And so that was the moment I decided, wow, I'm never going to do that, right? Again,
Yeah.
you're going into a huge transaction. You're not saving yourself from the taxes because obviously there's some tax breaks when you get married. The whole thing was just like, wow, that happened for me to learn this lesson to share with other people and not have to go through it, right? And so there's wisdom in other people's mistakes. And I'm not trying to say like we're here to make fun of them, we're here to laugh about it, we're here to be like shoulda, coulda, woulda, and I told you so, because that doesn't make people feel good. But when I told this young man this story, his eyes were huge. He could not believe it. One, because it's something that happened 20 years ago, but it's still applicable to today, because the courts, guess what? The courts aren't changing their mind on that, okay? Like that rule was written in the handbook before we got to the planet, folks. So for me, it's like, well, you really have to think about each decision you make in your life. And the wealthy, they seek counsel, okay? Just like the king and the queen back in the day, they had a whole set of advisors that would come to them and they'd be like, hey, I have this problem in my life. Let's talk it out. What are the repercussions of me behaving this way versus this way and that way before making a choice? So I honor this young man in trusting me and telling him this story, which I mean, kind of sounded like a little like, where am I taking you with this? But when I got to the point, he was like, oh, and then so he realized quickly that's probably why his girlfriend was like, I don't want to live with you till we're at least married. Not because of religious purposes, because I don't want to live with you and you never put a ring on it. Right. And so I think all of those things are valid. And like part of the work Luke and I do is about calling that kind of stuff in, right? We're calling in big things. And to call in big things, you need a little help, right? That doesn't just come out of nowhere because obviously these are big decisions that affect other people. I'm sure this young woman told her family, hey, my boyfriend wants to buy a house with me. And they went, you should think about that. Here's why, right? We're all seeking advice. And the thing is, who are you listening to? Are you listening to people who have what you want? Or are you listening to people who haven't even read a book on the topic? They're just literally in love with the sound of their own voice. That's what I call that. They're just flapping their lips because they want to maybe give you something that's not for you, like drama or not positive energy. So let's not do that. Let's talk to people who make sense and who care about us in our decisions and our transactions, right?
Absolutely. You brought up such a good point, who care about us. And I think that's why I absolutely love working with Monica and her team, is that they're so kind, they really care. And I really value that relationship, because for me, life's all about relationships. And so I think just on top of everything you said, like, yes, absolutely agree. And with all of that in mind, Monica, I wanted to ask, like, for people that are really vibing with you, where, like, first of all, any last words of wisdom, advice, and how can they connect with you?
Okay, so I think the biggest advice I have is I'm not a relationship advising human. However, the better you are at relationships, the better your life gets. It really is true. So master the art of making people feel good. And even when they make a mistake, better they make a mistake with you than some bozo who's never going to talk to them again. So accept them for who they are and treat them with love and kindness. And I promise things are going to come back in beautiful ways to you because of that.
Amazing. So good. And number two, for people that desire maybe to join your team, maybe for a financial consultation, like what I did with you and your team, where can they connect?
I'm definitely going to leave my landing page at the bottom of this interview for you all to check out. But I think the best way to get a hold of me is really just direct me, and I'll give you my phone number directly. I'm a big text message person. I do make phone calls. I do try to pick up the phone as much as I can and take people's calls. If I don't take your call, just know I'm probably with some client and you need to text me and I'm going to follow up with you. So those are the best ways. I'm also on Instagram. It's at Moura Mafia. That's my handle. So you can look me up there. And yeah, let's definitely get together because for me, it really is about to show you all of the goodies, right? There's lots of topics I have knowledge on. I would love to share for you with you for free because the goal is to make sure that you're, you know, getting your feet wet in the investment world and not feeling scared of making major decisions.
Absolutely amazing. And if I could give Monica 1,000 stars, I would. So do go connect with her. And for those of you in Monica's community beyond, my name is Luke. We can connect on Instagram, limitless_Luke, and on Facebook, Mindfully Sculpted is our community name. So let's connect, let's vibe higher together. If you're interested in Thailand, if you're interested in anything, a retreat, just authentically connecting, I'd love to chat with you. I'm committed to your success. And without further ado, thank you so much for listening to today's live podcast. If you enjoyed our interview, do go ahead and rate us. We'd love to hear from you, and have a fabulous Tuesday evening or whatever time it is that you're listening to this. Thank you all so much. Peace, love, and blessings. Bye-bye.